Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is John and this is your Modern Tech Breakdown. Today I'm taking a look at a post from Pillar Security about a potential code supply chain attack using GitHub Copilot or Cursor. Let's jump into it. So unless you've been living under a rock, you're probably aware that most developers these days are using generative AI tools to help get their work done. And it seems that the folks over at Pillar Security have discovered a way to use a feature of these tools to cleverly inject vulnerable code into repositories. Let's talk about how this works and what you should do about it. All right, so let's get into the nuts and bolts of how this vulnerability works. Generative coding tools like Cursor and GitHub Copilot have something called a rules file. These files are basically standing instructions given to the AI model to ensure that the generated code best adheres to the standards established for the project. Some examples of these types of rules would be notation formats, specific requirements for the use or exclusion of libraries or modules, or perhaps simply use best practices. And often these rules files are shared amongst the development team by being included in the repository itself. Obviously, it makes sense that you'd like everyone on the project to be using the same format, etc. The problem with these rules files is that it's possible to include invisible instructions in the file. Unfortunately, within the Unicode encoding standard, there are some specific code points that in many cases will allow for invisible text. So it's possible to put text into these rules files that the AI model will see and react to, but will likely not be seen by the humans overseeing the repository. Not good. So as an example of how this vulnerability could be exploited, here is a rules file where the text in red would be invisible to the user. You can see that the text instructs the AI to include a malicious script tag into generated HTML. So now everyone using generative AI will unwittingly include this malicious script tag when HTML is generated. This could be a problem for public repositories where pull requests are reviewed by project maintainers. It would probably be rather easy to sneak a rules file change through the process if the person reviewing the change can't even see the text. So what can you do about this? First, you should definitely review your rules files for invisible Unicode characters. You'll probably need to think about what kind of tool you're using to view these files and be sure that you're using settings that will show you any invisible characters. Second, you need to treat these files going forward with heavy scrutiny, especially any changes to make sure that no invisible characters get added to the file. Third, you need to be very careful going forward about copying and pasting any rules files instructions from forums or other online locations, as you could unwittingly grab invisible characters. But to wrap this one up, I think the good news is that this is theoretical at this point. I don't think there's been any examples where this vulnerability has been exploited in the wild, but the bad guys read blog posts too, so it's probably just a matter of time before we start seeing this issue popping up. But that's all I have on this for today. As always, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you next time.